Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Positive Success Show. I have an amazing woman on the show today. Her name is Erica Ballard, and she is a life coach for women and just an amazing inspiration. I've been following Erica for a while now on LinkedIn, and she just posts like the greatest things, the funniest things, real stuff. And it's just one day I'm like, I need to reach out to her and get to know her. And I did. And Erica, thank you for responding. And thank you for being on the show. Welcome.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy that you reached out. I'm like, you're amazing. And we have so much in common. And I'm like, we must have been best friends in a former life or something, man.
Oh my gosh. No, it's really a joy to have you here and to be speaking to you. For everyone watching or listening, you were just chatting. And it's just like when you're like aligned in your heart, you just start meeting amazing effing people. And Erica's one of those people that once I met her, I'm just like, yes, yes, and yes. There was no doubt in terms of wanting to build a friendship and build a relationship and like, just get to know your work more because I believe in what you do and I want to show the world what you do. So Erica, tell us, how did you get into this whole life coaching scene and just entrepreneurship in general? A lot of my listeners are aspiring entrepreneurs in life transition, changing careers. Maybe they don't want to start a business, but they do want to get into something that's more meaningful. Can you share with us kind of what those main pivotal points were for you, and yeah, and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, I'm absolutely happy to share that. But I just want to say, like, you just dropped a gem. You were like, when you're aligned with yourself, like you attract people and I was like, that she just, she just kept rolling with that. I'm like, if y'all missed that gem, please let me be sure to highlight it because it's so true. And I think about community all the time. And so here's my journey to hopefully help illuminate to the community what it can look like to become an entrepreneur. So for me, I spent most of my life chasing fitness. So I wanted to drop like 10, 15 pounds for most of my life. And the reason for that is I honestly, it's because I thought being a certain size would make me happy because I felt a void inside. But when you looked at the rest of my life, it made no sense. At the time, I had a hot boyfriend. I had really good friends. I lived in Washington, D.C. Like I lived in a cool neighborhood, Adams Morgan, shout out, right? Like at 22, like I was living a great life. And yet I felt so empty. And I was like, oh, it must be the weight because I'm still not there yet. Like, if I would just fit into a pair of size fours and everything would be right. And spoiler, it's not how it goes. And so even though I got there, right? So what ended up happening is I started to chase this thinness in even like a bigger way. And I eventually found my way to this program called the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And so I got my health coaching certification because I had read 1,000 books. I had tried 1,000 things up until that point. And I was like, screw it, I'm just going to get my health coaching degree. By the way, this is after getting my master's from Tufts Medical. So it was like I just paid off tens of thousands of dollars of debt, was like, let me go wipe out my savings and go get this other thing. All because I was like, I need to be thin. Like it's kind of crazy when you think about when I think about it, maybe when you think about it too. Um, but that's what happened. And that course changed my whole world because in 6 months, right? Like my pants fit, I was calmer, and I could see things more clearly. But like I said, spoiler, being a size four didn't get me all the things that I desired. I wasn't actually like that void was not fully healed. And so it sent me on a journey to figure out what the heck this was all about. So I did this though in tandem with the health coaching because what happened, and I know that I'm going from like part to part, but it's, I'm a
That's
little windy today. We can get into why. But it's like, the thing about what happened though, as I started to do my search is I started to coach at the same time after getting my certification, because what I started to realize is that what was out there in the world with regards to health wasn't quite true. So I spent the first 10 years of my career in public health, and in the daytime, I would shuck like chicken and broccoli as a way to get healthy, or like prescription drugs. And it's not that those things don't have a time or place. They're just not the default. And then I would learn and experience myself that like that was so far from true. And so at some point, the divide got so great that I was like, screw it. I have to start really talking about this stuff publicly. And then at some point, I was like, I have to leave that world behind because I can no longer be in the healthcare, public health space, wellness, corporate wellness space. And so then I started my entrepreneur journey. And as I was healing myself, right, trying to figure out what this void is about, as I was helping other people achieve the health that they desired, I started to realize that it was never about the kale. It was never about the sugar. No one was ever like, oh my God,
Not
I
about
should
the
eat less
sale.
sugar. Yeah. You think I should eat more vegetables? Oh, well, I'm drinking too much coffee. Like no one's ever like shocked, right? Like no one's head exploded. When I shared that, it was like all of these internalized beliefs. And so I had to really learn, how do I change someone's behavior from the inside out, because the outside in wasn't working. And so, right, my journey started to mirror my client's journey. And then like I became a life coach. But with the life coach piece, I will just add this small caveat. I had a bunch of imposter syndrome. I freaked out quite a bit. I had a child in between. I lost my way. And then I became a life coach.
So if you're thinking about starting a business, become a coach. That is the moral of the story. It's interesting because like every time I talk to another entrepreneur, there's always like that thing that you're chasing. So for you, it was health and fitness. When I look at my own path, it was like external achievement in terms of career.
Mm,
And
yeah.
even though you keep chasing these things externally, internally there's that void. And so in your work, Erica, what do you kind of like walk us through a simple beginning process of how you help someone fill that void, or like even to begin that process and to recognize it, because I think that's the God, I mean like that's the that's what you do, and that's what I do as well. It's how do you create that sense of fulfillment and also purpose and help someone understand themselves better.
Oh, I love that question. And I actually just walked through it with someone today. I do these free things I was telling you about. They're called Tuesday Teas, and they're like free group coaching sessions I do with people on the second Tuesday of the month. And this woman came on and she was like, God bless her. She was like, I don't know why I'm here. I'm just here to listen. And then like 2 minutes later, she was like crying, right? And I'm like, Isn't it interesting? Because your soul always knows, right? Why you're there, even if you don't. And so I was explaining this process to her. And so I've practiced explaining it already today. So hopefully I can be a lot tighter in my response than how did I get here? And so here's how I recommend people getting started on how to feel that void is when someone asks you, or you ask yourself the question, what do I want?
Mhm.
Don't focus on physical things. Don't focus on the professional title. Focus on how you want to feel. What do you want is, how do you want to feel? And when you focus on that, when you say, oh, I want peace, oh, I want joy, oh, I want freedom, right? Then you get to start feeling those things in your body and normalizing them within. And I find when you do that, one, it helps to normalize that feeling in your body, right? And so you can hold more of it, but it also helps you spot things that bring that stuff to you. And so you don't have to go get the thing to get the feeling. You have the feeling. And if we agree that there are certain universal laws that work in our favor, then you start to attract the things that bring you that feeling. And honestly, you get to cut out the middleman and just feel how you want to feel now. So for me, that I didn't do that initially because, like we were saying before we hit record, we didn't have coaches when we started to run into problems. But now we do. And after working with a bunch of people, I really feel that's the best place to start because you can feel how you want to feel now. You don't need all the stuff to feel that way. But you have to normalize those feelings in your body if you're going to attract things that will continue to bring you more of the way you want to feel.
So good. It's like if you're driving, you're listening to this, you're like, you have to sit down and replay it and listen to it because it's like it's so simply stated. Like you just feel the way you want to feel now. And it's harder to do. It's hard to do because we're like, at least for me, and then when I think about life, even to this day, like as an entrepreneur, like I'm chasing things. But to normalize the state of joy and peace, that is hard work. Hard work. And so, Erica, I mean, you're dropping so many gems, like change from the inside out, not the outside in. In a prior conversation, we talked about the longest journey is from your head to your heart. Can you
Longest.
can you just share? I don't know. I want to take the conversation there because I think it's. I want to show folks like when you start doing this work, it's not what you think it's going to be. It ends up being so much more. And for you, Erica, what has been the most enlightening, fulfilling, satisfying aspects of that journey?
Ooh. Honestly, it's the journey. It's when something makes it from my head, honestly, to my heart. It is the most fulfilling piece because it allows me to live presently and it allows me to live how I say I want to live. And that's, I think, what makes that journey so hard at times because we want to intellectualize and control the how of being. And that sentence in itself is an oxymoron, right? Like you don't do being, like you are. That like I am. And so it, it for me understanding that, and it's not with every facet of my life that I'm there, but there are a lot of things that I'm starting to really embody. And for me, it's such a gift to be able to do that because I say I want to be peaceful,
Mhm.
but sometimes, and this happens for a lot of my clients and it happens for me too, peaceful feels like doing nothing. But
Mm.
when I recognize that being peaceful means being present, or being peaceful means choosing to hang out with my daughter, or peaceful means choosing rest, like, man, it feels so great. It feels so great. I don't have to I'm not thinking about it. I'm just being it. And for me, that's like one of the coolest things that I get experience is a recovering doer. Like in the process of recovering from constantly trying to take action.
So good. I'm like, I need to rephrase my tagline because I'm like, be bold, be positive, and take action every day. But it's like, it's that needing to like be in motion versus being present. Like you don't have to be in motion to be present. And I think
Mm.
that's like I'm still grasping. I need to still grasp that, not intellectually, but embody that. So thank you for that gem.
Oh yeah. Thanks for walking it with me
Just
because
throwing it
that's the thing.
out.
That's the thing is like, and I think that that's what's difficult. Like, I love the tagline, take action, right at the end of your tagline, because it's true. I'm still taking action, but we have an idea. I should say we have a belief in this society that action means kind of muscling our way through with our body. And it's like, action means choosing intentionally what you want to do. And sometimes none of it, you can't see any of it, right? When I'm shutting a thought down that no longer serves me, that's action. But because you don't see me reading a book, highlighting my, like, holding onto my brain, right? So we don't think of that as action, but that's actually some of the hardest stuff you'll ever do is stop thought patterns that you carried with you for 30 plus years that you realize no longer serve you.
So I never thought about it that way. It's action reframe it, choosing intentionally. It's brilliant. So good. So good.
Steal it. Steal it.
Erica, so you have a kid, you have a baby, or now toddler. How old is she? How old is
Now toddler.
her?
Yeah.
Can you share just a few insights into how you manage your business and the baby? No, like this is a real. I'm still struggling with it. I'm like, how do you even do it? Like I got piles of laundry like sitting in that room right there, and I'm just like, I'm gonna get on this podcast interview because this is fun for me. But I know that's the laundry. Like you got to do laundry, you got to do your chores. Like how do you take us
Yeah.
into like just a glimpse of your life? Like what does it look like behind the scenes? Because I want the viewers and the listeners to know, like, entrepreneurship's not sexy. It's hard work, and you have to really really believe in what you do, and then also take care of stuff at home, like whatever you need to take care of in terms of your personal life. So can you give us a glimpse? I'm curious because I have 3 kids, I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah, girl. Me too. And I think so. I only laughed so hard when you asked it because I'm like, oh, how am I doing it? Um, and it's not that I don't know. So let me figure out how I'm gonna articulate this. I think the first piece is that I have a really supportive spouse. So I'm very fortunate that I have a very supportive spouse who he doesn't babysit. He actively watches my kid, right? And we like really do split time with her. So that's the first thing I will say is like I have a really supportive spouse. The other piece that is and you probably know this now. I had no idea how focused I could get.
Mhm.
So now that I have a kid, I have a certain amount of hours in my day that like I can work. And I do that. I get like if there's these times like I honestly, if I don't really like you, and that's not true, but if it's like if I'm not really connected with you or I feel like there's something's not right in the connection yet or whatever it is, like I will always choose me and the work that I'm doing over that or anything else because for me the most precious time is really with my family, with my daughter. And so I'm very careful about who I spend my time with and where I spend my time. So I think those are the two. And then the third piece, honestly, things are messy now, right? Like my husband hates mess, like literally hates it. And I'm like, fine, you can clean it. Like, cause it's just, it's not worth it. Like, it's not like our house is a pigsty or we're hoarders by any means, but I just can't vacuum every day. Like, and kids are messy. So I just can't I can't bathe her every day, right? Like I can't. So I don't. And I relieve and and as I'm getting through it, I'm like, okay, there's one more piece is I've released the pressure valve.
Mm.
So I've said like it doesn't have to look like this. So I've been talking with people a lot lately, and I think it's really funny because I really feel them when they say this because I had to go through it too. Like I really like being a mom. Like
Mhm.
I really like going to story time. I really like taking her to music classes. I really like watching her play at the park. Like I really enjoy it. And so like I've released release the pressure valve. I don't have to be this woman, like this do it all woman. I don't have to be this like, at least not in this chapter of my life. Like I don't need 6 billion things to check a box to say I'm successful, to say I'm these things. I'm like, I really like this. And so I'm going to build a life around these things. And I'm going to not care so much that other people maybe disagree with how I do things.
Mhm.
And that's been a journey, but like, yeah, those 4 things I think are, not, I think I know that that's how I get through 24-hour cycles.
I love it. It's just it's that. It's like having the team, right? The supportive spouse, even having like your daughter on board. Like, hey, mommy's gonna go do this like interview right now. It is really a team sport. And I love how you said you built a life around what you love. I mean, that is just like it's so simply put. But like if you just focus on that, you're gonna be okay. And I love that. I love that. Erica, so what do you know, you're a life coach, you have a lot of stuff going on. When things are challenging and things don't go your way, you know, roadblocks, obstacles, all of that stuff. And you know, as entrepreneurs, you always things always pop up. What do you do to stay positive, or at least get your energy level one notch up if you're like, oh, this thing happened? How do you do that?
Yeah. So I'm going to share two things, if that's okay. Maybe a third, three things. One, I lean on other people.
Mm.
So like today was tough, y'all. I had to face some things I didn't want to face in the morning, and I leaned on my coaches, my mentors, my people, to help pull out like, what is all of this? Like, what the hell? So that's the first thing. The second thing is like, I tell the truth.
Mm.
Like, and that, I don't know if it's like, it, yeah. And I think it helps me stay positive because when I say the truth of what I'm really feeling, the really scary thing to say, it's like, I'm obsessing with this because I don't want to see the thing over there. Right. I'm running away from it. When I say it out loud, it's a lot less scary. And I can come up with a solution or a path forward. And then the last thing for me, because I'm extremely in touch with my spiritual side, is sometimes I just hand that shit over to God. I'm like, universe or spirit, I don't care what you call it. I'm like, yo,
Yo.
not today. Like, can you fix it? Because I don't have it in me to like try to. And yeah, that's how I stay positive. It's how it's really, and it's not, I guess my answer wasn't necessarily how to stay positive, but it was like how to keep moving forward. Um, because I do think that, and I know you didn't mean it like this, so just so we're super clear, I know it. But like, it can be like, I think the answer is never is not, it's not never, it's not necessarily always how to be positive. It's like, how do you keep moving forward? Because positivity is not always needed to take the next
Mm.
step. So I didn't really answer your question. I answered my own, and thanks for letting me do that.
I love it. I love, you know, every time I ask this question, it's just like everyone has a different answer. And, you know, however you receive it, it's all welcome because, you know, ultimately, you know, we're all on a path to somewhere and we're all going to get knocked down. And then how do you keep, and that's the thing, like, how do you keep moving forward, and
Yeah.
keep on the path? So
Yeah.
thank you for your insights. And Erica, how do you, at this point in your life, in your career, your family life, everything, how do you define success?
I'm going to be fully transparent. There's still so much conditioning in me that's like this amount of money and this thing and all that. But when you ask the question, like immediately the answer popped through, and then I was like, but, so I just want to like say that because I think you probably hear a lot of your guests probably hear people say really eloquent, nice things, but like I try really hard as a coach to be radically transparent that like we're all on this journey. Because I'm really sick of people summiting and then telling me what to do. I'm like, sometimes I need someone like on the mountain with me to help me see. So sorry for that really long explanation, but thanks for the space. And so the real answer, when I tap into like what's true for me, success to me is freedom to live that life that I love. Right. So freedom with my time, freedom with what I do, freedom with who I get to hang out with. It's pure freedom.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. And you know, like everyone's answer is so like it becomes so simple. It's not like the thing that you think, but it's more of the state, the being, like what you were talking about earlier. That being, that state of being free and free to choose and having um autonomy and independence and being able to think, to be for yourself, not to be for other people, but to
Mm.
be for yourself.
Yeah, totally. And the thing that I was talking with a friend about was, when you start out in entrepreneurship, this answer feels so far away, right? But as you heal, and let's be honest, entrepreneurship is like the fastest self-growth and self-healing tool available to us, right? But as you heal, right, the things that you truly desire become less stuff oriented and more state oriented.
Mm.
And so I didn't know that when I started as an entrepreneur. I thought people like me were just so full of shit when they said stuff like that. But it's just because we start to get clear about the truth of who we are as we continue to take these steps. And as we do that, right, again, we want less stuff and we want more states of being.
Oh. Master class on, it's not even entrepreneurship, it's just like self-transformation. But what's interesting,
Yeah.
and we were chatting about this right before we hit record, like how entrepreneurship can be a vehicle, an awesome vehicle for self-transformation and self-growth, because there are no right or wrong answers. It's like it's either you do it or you don't, and then you see what happens, right? It's like, I hope this is gonna be okay. But let me tell you, 5 years in, I'm like, I'm still enjoying this ride. I get to meet people like Erica and just other amazing entrepreneurs that are living life on their terms. And Erica's super, super awesome. I love the work that you're doing. Can you share with our listeners, viewers, what is coming up in the pipeline for you? What you're offering? Any awesome ways to engage with you? Because you're amazing.
Oh, thanks. So yeah, first thing is the podcast. So I have a podcast too, that Dom is going to come on. It's called the Erica Ballard Show, and I've revamped it a bit. And I'm really excited about it. So I talk basically with friends and a few other people about essentially being on the mountain and what it's like so that people can start to see what it really looks like to move through it instead of like the silvery, shiny stuff at the end. No shade to people who do the latter. It's just that I needed what I'm talking about during my journey. So the title is The Erica Ballard Show. I know, super catchy. So there's the podcast. The other thing that's coming down the pipeline is the Clarity Challenge. So this is the first place I'm talking about it. So thank you. So I'll be doing the Clarity Challenge, which is a 5-day experience for women who are looking to make a shift, but are like, I don't know what it is, or I don't know how to do it. And I say experience because it isn't a summit. It isn't me talking to you. We're doing meditations. We're doing journal prompts. We're going real deep, real fast. And then I'm going to be hosting a group coaching call every single day of the challenge to help people really move through and unclog, unblock whatever's happening, because I just feel like awareness matters and we need more than awareness to move forward.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm. Amazing.
So those are it.
Coming up.
Yeah,
So
I'm super
awesome.
excited.
So awesome. Erica, thank you so much for being on the show. Any last words? I feel like there's just so many gems in you that you want to share it with, with a woman entrepreneur, aspiring entrepreneur. They're kind of on the fence. They're like, I don't know what I want. Like, look at Dom, look at Erica, like they're doing stuff already. Like what words of wisdom would you like to impart on them?
Okay. Here's what I want to say in this podcast. I want to say, do you like, I am currently very upset with the entrepreneurial world with the big mantras of like hustle, grind, throw your life away. Like you're going to be sick. Like, you know what I mean? This whole idea that like you can't have what you want unless you're willing to sacrifice it all. I'm just telling you right now, that's the biggest bunch of bullshit on the planet. Like maybe if you want to be Mark Cuban, maybe, but like most of us, we want to just make really good money, which is like $500,000, right? And like, and hang out with our families. And I know so many people, believe it or not, who live that life. And they did it by doing their way. And what I mean by that is they didn't buy into all the marketing funnels and all of the like must do social media posts like this and must create websites that look like this. They were like, they were like, I'm going to get really quiet. I'm going to figure out what's really, really important to me. And I'm going to say it.
Mm.
And then I'm going to offer services around what I'm saying. Like that's what they do. And they don't have a private jet. They definitely don't. But they have beautiful homes and beautiful lives. And they work 30 hours a week and they hang out with their kids and their family. And I'm just sharing that because so many people get into entrepreneurship to live life their way, to say what's really important to them. And then they get so bogged down by all of the marketing that feeds on your pain, that basically tells you you're not enough. And so you must do it this way. And I just want you to know it's such bullshit. Most success, 80% of it is you trusting your gut, trusting your intuition, and doing it your way. And 20% of it is strategy. That's it.
Mic drop. Love it. I love it. Thank you. I'm like, there is another thing that's going to come out. It's going to be freaking awesome. But I am 100%, 1,000% with you, Erica. Build the life that you want, build the business that you want that's going to fit your needs. It doesn't have to be this crazy and humongous thing, but whatever fits what you want. So,
Mhm.
thank you so much. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for
You're
being on
the
the show.
best.
I'm gonna have you back on whenever that's gonna be. It's like you're gonna
Okay.
come back on and throw more golden nuggets out there. But a pleasure to have you here on the Positive Success Show. Thanks so much for being on.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I'll come back whenever you want me here.